Glenn Webb, District North Vancouver Mayor. I think one of the easiest solutions to control speeding would be to reduce our speed limits on our residential streets. Right now, a 50-kilometer speed limit on a residential street no longer makes sense. It would be very good for us and our kids if we would agree to reduce speeds to 30 kilometers per hour in residential streets. That would be a huge step. I'm also a firm believer in traffic calming measures, choke points, speed bumps, and more lighting. Those are fairly simple things to install, but I know from experience, having tried to get the city of Burnaby to install a stop sign, it took us 5 years, numerous public consultation, with lots of opposition to the idea of traffic calming because they would be inconvenienced because it was up the street they wanted to use. And when we finished, after asking for a stop sign, we got a traffic circle. That's what we got. We asked for a simple stop sign. At the end of the day, they installed a massive traffic circle. So be careful what you wish for.
Okay, so the final question from the Delbrook Community Association, and there's very few people that get to answer it, is how would you propose that we resolve the traffic congestion problem? I'm going to start where Linda was, but we're going to work. Oh, wait a second, this is the same. I'll start over here. I'll start with Ash again.
Sorry. Kind of made it pretty interesting.
Ashamani, still running for mayor. So going back to what I was saying earlier, 81% of the new housing that's been built in the district is around a transportation corridor. Our official community plan calls for smart development. That means developing homes close to transit so people can take transit to where they need to go. A lot of investments are going into the Rapid B-Line. As a team, Building Bridges is committing to the following to resolve traffic. Park and rides close to transit hubs so people can drive down from wherever they are and then hop onto a rapid service. Optimizing our existing road infrastructure. Fast-tracking the B-lines that have been proposed by TransLink from Lynn Valley to downtown, from other areas across the North Shore, but also across the bridges. We're also committing to safe routes to school for our kids and our other members of our community, for anybody who walks, rides, or rolls, having safe routes to school and to amenities. And we're also committing to exploring the viability of rapid transit across to the North Shore, across our bridges. I think our solutions really lie in our buckets.
Thanks again for coming and for your patience. And thank you for our young timekeeper. Thank you. Traffic. Eres Barzilai, running for mayor. Immediate, bring those buses back, bring those buses in. Immediate expansion of public transportation options will cost us much less than keeping the gridlock. Alternative transportation options, including waterways and airways, should be considered along the shore. TransLink, and especially the SkyTrain in particular, is long overdue, serving the North Shore population more effectively and efficiently. C-bus routes and express bus lanes should be used to in peak traffic hours. Long-haul shipping should be reserved for off-peak traffic hours. Using alternative energy vehicles, electric cars, powered cars, bicycles, buses, and trucks should be widely encouraged and should be rewarded with tax initiatives and licensing.
There's Marmalade. Our timekeeper has a slide whistle. I thought that was going to kick in soon here too. Once again, my name is Mike Little. I'm running for mayor. The traffic and transportation issues are very complex in our community, but one thing that you cannot expect is for TransLink to be a good faith partner in all negotiations. We have tried to work with TransLink over the years to get the simplest, smallest of things. We always lose when they look at the regional picture and the priorities in the North Shore always loses. One example of that is Phibbs Exchange. We've been fighting since 2005 to get more weather protection, more lighting, safety security call box, and maybe a shop in the middle of it. It was delayed in 2007 because they were going to bring in the third C-Bus. Third C-Bus came in 3 years later for 4 months, and then they cut it because of no ridership. The B line is going to have that same problem. They're going to bring it in, but because it doesn't go into Lonsdale Quay, it goes to Park Royal. It doesn't actually go downtown or cross over the bridges. It's going to have trouble meeting its ridership goals. We should instead be focused on express buses bringing people to the North Shore. The #1 issue affecting our traffic, according to the InStep report, was workers coming to the North Shore. You can't solve this issue without addressing that.
Next, and hope I get the slide whistle. Jordan back again, running for council. Traffic congestion, it definitely involves us working together, working together as a council and working together as a region. When we start working as one municipality, we're not going to get anything done. A lot of people have referenced the InStep report, and I support the recommendations within that. We do need to be working with all levels of government to finding affordable solutions that work for our community. On top of that, I want to look at talking to some of our largest employers on the North Shore, because their employees are part of this problem, and what are they doing to help us alleviate it. I'd also like to work with BC Ferries. How do we realign some of those afternoon sailings? Because BC Ferries is injecting hundreds of vehicles into our traffic every afternoon. I also want to look at car share, because I think car share is an important part of any multimodal transportation solution. I've already talked to Car2Go and Evo, and they do want to be in our town centers. So how do we incentivize some of our developers to be including some of those car share spaces? I just want to take the opportunity to thank the organizers for having us. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Mitchell Baker for council. Obviously, our congestion is terrible. We all know that. I think that our biggest first step is to lean on our employers. Like Jordan said, there's thousands of employees that come in here sometimes 3 times a day. They have 3 shifts a day down at Neptune Terminal. There's 1,000 employees that come and go 3 times a day. They're back and forth across the bridge, and 85% of those people, I believe, live off the North Shore. That's an easy one. Lean on those employers. They're interested in doing it. They're interested in helping solve the problem to get their people here on time and be able to attract more people. We're all suffering the same problem as employers, getting workers here. So if we can get them across the bridge easier and we get affordable housing so that some of them can even live here, hey, that would be great too. I'm Mitchell Baker, October 20th.
I'm Phil DePacchi, running for council. This is one of the issues that motivated me to run. For the last few years, I've looked at what other cities have done, from gondolas to integrated mobility, where one pass gives you a bike share, a car share, and transit. What I've learned is there are solutions. The InStep report recognizes this. Everything's on the table because TransLink isn't going to solve our problem without us leading the way. It has real data derived from various sources that we need to use as a starting point. We must continue this process and present a united North Shore voice to TransLink. No one wants to sacrifice our green space for development in order to make TransLink pay attention. We need TransLink to understand the North Shore is limited in its growth capacity, as we are the gatekeepers of the local mountains that make Vancouver so special. We need to work together to make TransLink understand the problem we face on the North Shore are as much a product of our region as they are limited by our growth. We need transit to be integrated in step with any planned densification if we are to have any hope of seriously alleviating one of the biggest problems facing the North Shore. On October 20th, I hope you will support me, Phil DePacchi, for District Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Hansen. On a positive note, I do believe that there is going to be some improvement in the east-west flow of traffic across the North Shore when the Highway 1 upgrades that are currently in process are completed. And I thank my council colleagues and congratulate my council colleagues for that achievement of our council. If re-elected, I commit to work with council on issues of transit. We need better transit. I don't support another vehicle bridge across the water, because I feel that would simply congest our local streets and not be the long-term solution. Better express buses, B-lines, park and rides. I spoke at the UBCM about better traffic clearing. I will continue that cause. And long-term, I will work with our council, other councils, and other stakeholders to explore rapid transit to the North Shore, because I believe that to be the only long-term solution to our traffic challenges. Thank you.
Robin, you spoke on two.
No. What?
No, he's only spoken on one.
Yeah.
He was out.
I didn't speak on
Speeding.
Okay, I guess this is the parting shot. Robin Hicks, old timer, working for the younger generation. Traffic congestion and housing affordability are inextricably linked, as the latter is a cause of a large percentage of commuting service workers. The INSTEP report shows us the way forward, and I urge everyone to at least read the executive summary. Now, I support Matthew Bond's figures on housing stats as a physicist, my first degree, as a mathematician, and as a qualified CA. I'm also about the same age as Dr. Kosmike. I will also remind everyone that council doesn't build or evict, that we just set a framework and make decisions based on getting more affordable and rental housing than previously existed. And I would like to challenge all new candidates to say exactly how they would choose which developments to approve and which ones to turn down if they are compliant with the OCP.
I feel 26, and I'm working for everyone. Traffic's here to stay. Just like density won't lower the price of a condo, building more will not get rid of the car. We are a car-dependent community because of our geography. We are a family-oriented community traveling across the North Shore for doctor's appointments, school, socializing, recreation. I have 5 children in my family. I live in my car. The goal for town centers was to create complete surface levels, allowing people to hopefully shop close by. However, lease rates and affordability, not only for residents but businesses, remain a concern and could encourage increased car use. Just look at Marine Drive. We have a highway that many of us have used for decades for the convenience of its accessing our neighborhoods. That convenience is gone, with densification happening towards Squamish, the city, and West Van. Extending the southbound lane dedicated lane accessing Lower Lynn and Seymour on Highway 1 to Lonsdale, which was one of the original committee recommendations when the interchange was designed, would give many, many more people an internal circulation. We also need to look at north-south fast bus, east-west, and we need to use our water, just like those Europeans. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Samir Parek running for council. Traffic. There are many issues, not one single solution is going to solve it, but I have a few suggestions that I want to bring forward as councillor. Smart density for affordable housing for people that work here. If you don't, I've said this a couple of times already, if you work here and live here, you don't spend your time in the car adding to the congestion. It builds better communities, spend more time with your family and friends, and allows you to be active, support local businesses, and also reduce the impact to our environment. I don't want any towers here in North Van. I want lower density, but affordable density. Another one is to accelerate the 2 new B-line buses so we'd have 3 B-line buses in North Van. The 2 proposed ones are going to go over the bridges or going to connect us with downtown and Burnaby, so I want to bring those and accelerate those. I want to use our waterway, as Lisa mentioned, east-west travel along the water.
What traffic? First of all, I have to apologize for adding 3,640 car trips last year to those bridges and around here. Because when we ran a small business, we could not, for the life of us, hire a local individual. Fully half of our staff came from Vancouver, and so they had to drive here. and they have to come along the highway and clog up our local roads. We need to have affordable housing so that young people between the ages of 20 and 40 can live and work here. It's going to make an enormous difference. I can tell you, I've seen it up close and personal. SkyTrain is an option. It can move 24,000 people per hour. Imagine the difference that would make. And in terms of a plan, we have something here called the InStep report. It makes such an incredibly smart and intelligent, easy to implement recommendations. We need to look at this right away and start working on it. So I'm Greg Robbins. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Peter T. Van, running for council. Robin, I think if you're going for the mic drop, you're supposed to hit the floor. I'd like to ask you all to check out, I wrote an op-ed piece on an evaluation of the DNV's current transit plan. And that's in the Global Canadian, the 1st of September edition. You can find it in a coffee shop, or you can find it online, or you can find it on my Facebook page. So please take a look at that. It's got some recommendations in it. The InStep report is a great start. It's great that all the government levels are talking together, but the InStep report came out, and on the one hand, it said, we know that the problem is not so much the time over the bridge, it's the congestion around the bridgeheads. And then, later it said, we examined the idea of a new bridge and it doesn't fix the problem that's not there. So we need to concentrate on the congestion around the bridgeheads. That's why I'm saying we have 23 years to get one thing done. We've got 50 years of structural life left in the iron workers now. We need to start talking about it today.
Okay, great. So thank you, everyone.